Howdy everyone, your pal Ral, here with another vlog. So, I just finished watching the last episode of the second season of My Hero Academia, and I did this before with the end of the first season when I finished that. What I'm going to be doing is I will be giving my, I guess, review or recap of the second season like I did with the first one. So yeah, this is going to be the My Hero Academia Season 2 recap. Now, when I did the recap for Season 1, that went on for like half an hour, so I'm going to try to make my points a little bit shorter, just to make this video shorter, and also because I don't think I can hold this camera for like half an hour long, because this camera is not harder, it's heavier than the old vlog camera, and if I hold it for too long, since I'm not used to using this vlog camera like quite yet, my wrist will definitely start to hurt after not even like half an hour, like about 15 minutes is like how long I can hold this camera for. So yeah, let's get on with the season review. So first off, I really enjoyed the season. We get to see more about the other characters aside from, also spoilers are gonna be in this video, I guess, like for season 2, but yeah, one thing I really like about the season is that we get to see a lot of the other characters aside from just Deku, which I do like a lot. We get to see more of his friend Ida, who I previously called like Engine Leg Boy, because there's a lot of characters in My Hero Academia, so remembering all of their names is a bit difficult, but yeah. So the season starts off with a recap of the first season, so that's just like, that's basically my season 1 recap in episode form for this series. But the end of the recap does it talk about the sports festival? I think it does, but yeah, the season proper starts off with the UA High School Sports Festival, which, I mean, it's a festival of, it's basically like an Olympics-esque event for the high school students, and it's divided up into grades. So their first year students are in their own little section, and there's the second year students and the third year students, which we don't really get to see much of. We only see like the first year students because that's that's the class that Deku is a part of. He's part of class A. We get to see other classes too, like class B, other classes in the high school, like the support class, general studies, which they're basically people, general studies are basically people that couldn't get into the hero classes. Support people are the ones that make equipment, things like that. We get to learn more about like just how the setting of the show works, which is really cool. World building is always really nice. So the first event of the sports festival, it's divided into 3 events. It's I guess it's called the perimeter race, where the first year students, they race around the dome and also like into some woods or whatever, and there's obstacles there, of course. There's giant robots, there's a minefield, there's a canyon, I think. And for the most part in the race, it seems like Todoroki, who is the character with his quirk is like half ice, half fire. Like his left side, that's his fire side, which he doesn't use due to personal reasons, which we actually do get to learn of. And his right side, which it's my arm that's holding the camera, so I can't really show that off, but that's the side that has his ice powers. For the most part during the race, it seems like he has the lead, but then Deku, he takes like some debris from one of the fallen robots, carries it with him like throughout the entire race, and then he does like he basically does what I equate to the Legend of Zelda cartoon, where Link just like hops on a bomb like while like riding on a shield and then just like flies off. Deku does that, getting him the lead and winning the race. So there's that. Deku was pretty he was resourceful, which was pretty nice. So he got first place in the race. Then Todoroki, I think he gets second. Bakugo, I think he gets third. The two of Todoroki and Bakugo, like they're like neck and neck throughout the entirety of the race. But yeah. So the race is all done and over with. And then we get the next event, which is the cavalry battle. Okay, so I switched arms there because my right arm was starting to get tired. But anyways, onto the cavalry battle. And also, if I'm looking over to this side, it's because I have a notepad document that's like lists everything that, or most of the points that happen in the second season, because it's a long season actually. It's nearly twice as long as season 1. So yeah. Anyways, the cavalry battle. It's a bit weird to explain, but basically there's a point system involved. I think the students that did the best in the race, they get headbands with points determined on how well they did, and because Deku got first, his point total it's way higher than everyone else's. It's like 10 million or something, while everyone else is like in the thousands. But the students that have points, like they're given headbands and they lead cavalries, which are like teams of like 4 people. And yeah, like you have to try to steal the headbands from the other teams. And Deku, his team is him, Zero Gravity Girl, Uraraka, which I don't know if I actually pronounced that right, because pronouncing some Japanese names can be pretty difficult sometimes. But yeah, she's on his team. Oh, it's teams of 5 actually. So yeah, it's Deku, Uraraka, Engine Like Boy, Tenya, Ida. Yeah, I'll call him Ida. Another one of his classmates whose quirk is like some kind of like dark shadow thing called yeah, his name is Tsukuyomi? No, that's his hero name. Tokoyami. I'll get into the hero names later, but then Deku also teams up with someone from one of the support classes, which I don't remember her name, but she's like a mechanist girl who likes to make things. So yeah, they're all carrying Deku. Ida is like giving him a piggyback ride, and then the other 2 are like on Deku's like left and right side. And the cavalry battle goes on for a bit. Deku's team almost loses. Todoroki's team, which has a lot of people, his team wins. Bakugo's team wins, and then someone else's team wins. I think it's someone from Class B. But yeah, there's 4 teams that win, and is it 4 teams? I think it's 4 teams that win. I don't really remember, but the teams that win, they move on into the 3rd event of the sports festival, which is a tournament, because every shonen series needs to have a tournament at some point. So the tournament, it's a really good part of the 2nd season. I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, I enjoyed the 2nd season a lot in general, but yeah, so I think there's like either 16 people fighting in the tournament, even though like 4 teams won, so that'd be like 20 people. I don't remember exactly, but like I know there's like 16 people in the tournament. And Deku, he has the first match. He fights someone from Class B who has like a brainwashing quirk. Deku, he gets briefly brainwashed, but then he overcomes that, and then he sees a thing that makes me like think that his quirk has more to it, because when he's like being brainwashed, he sees like a vision of what I assume are like the previous people that had his quirk, since his quirk was transferred to him. And yeah, there's that. Deku wins after overcoming that. Then the second match is Todoroki, and this is where we get to see more of him, because the reason he doesn't use his fire powers is because he has daddy issues, really. His dad, not the best dad. His dad is like the number 2 hero in the world, right underneath All Might. So his dad, like when he gave birth, well, he didn't really give birth, his wife did, but like when Todoroki is born, he was given his dad's fire powers as a quirk, as well as his mom's ice powers. So Todoroki was he had a bad childhood. Like he was basically raised to surpass All Might, and he resents his father for that because like his dad like drove his mother crazy and whatnot. So yeah, Todoroki, he doesn't like using his fire powers, and like he's talking to his dad, gets him angry right before Todoroki's match. Then Todoroki wins by making a lot of ice. So yeah, Todoroki, he gets a lot of focus during the tournament arc because his issues with his dad they're mainly showcased here. Which, I mean, his issues with his dad makes me remind him of Zuko because he has like the fiery scar thing, even though that was his mom that caused it, where Zuko's dad is the one that scarred him, but whatever. And then, yeah, there's other matches in the tournament arc. Yeah, other matches, there's Engine Leg Boy, Ida, he fights the Mechanist Girl, wins after the Mechanist Girl is like, hey, I'm showing off my equipment, I don't care if I win. So, there's that. And then, Tokoyami, he fights another girl from Class A whose quirk is creating things. Her name is Yayarozu, which I'm remembering like some of the students' names, which is good because during the first season I had a lot of trouble remembering all of them, but So yeah, Tokoyami wins that one, and then the last match of round 1 of this tournament, because I'm skipping ahead because some of the matches I don't remember and they weren't that memorable, but it's Bakugo versus Uraraka, and Bakugo, he wins the fight, but Zero Gravity Girl, as I used to call her, she does actually put up a fight and almost wins after basically lifting up a bunch of debris while Bakugo isn't looking. So like the entire sky has like a bunch of debris and that she makes rain down. But unfortunately she passes out before she has a chance to win, and Bakugo advances into the next round. So round 2, this is where things get pretty fun. So round 2, the first match is Deku vs Todoroki, which is one of the best fights in the season. So Deku, he's using his quirk still. He doesn't have control over it, so like whenever he uses parts of his body, like he'll break the parts that he uses his quirk on. So he's doing that. He's using his fingers, like doing like little flicks to send blasts of air to repel Todoroki's ice. So like his right hand is like pretty much ruined, and so even though like Deku's right hand is still like ruined, he still continues to like use his fingers, which causes his hand to be broken even more. But yeah, so the fight continues to go on, and then Deku's like, hey Todoroki, you should use your fire powers because you're being rude to everyone by not fighting at full strength. And then Todoroki's like, oh yeah, you're right. So there's that, and then Deku's like, get over your daddy issues. And Todoroki's like, I should. And then uses fire powers, which, I mean, kind of a dumb move on Deku's part, but he's also trying to help him out, so Deku's just a good kid like that. But yeah, so Todoroki starts to use his fire powers. Deku, he also uses his quirk, and they're about to like do a head-on collision where they do like the cliche like fly forward and then punch each other thing, but then the referee's like, we should stop this because they're gonna severely hurt each other. So the teachers try, because the referees are also teachers, and then yeah, there's a big explosion. Deku gets sent flying out of bounds, so he loses, which is, I mean, it's not every day that you see like the main character of a shonen series lose a tournament arc, but yeah, that happened. So yeah, Todoroki advances to the semifinals, and yeah, and then between matches, while Deku is being healed by the nurse recovery girl, she basically says, hey, you're kind of doing a lot of damage to your body. I I can't fix all of this, so if you continue to be reckless with your body, and I'm not gonna heal you, so... Yeah, and then that actually causes Deku's right hand to be disfigured. So, I mean, that is his fault. He was being reckless in that fight, but yeah. Also in round 2, not much else happens that's noteworthy. I mean, Bakugo advances to the semifinals, Tokoyami advances to the semifinals, and Ida advances to the semifinals. Not in that order, it's actually the reverse order, so it goes Ida, Ida, Tokoyami, Bakugo. So yeah, we get the semifinals after that, which the first match is Todoroki versus Ida, and Todoroki wins. Also, Todoroki goes back to just not using his fire part of his quirk, because, I mean, while he did kind of get over his daddy issues, he's still not completely over them, but yeah. Also, after that, we find out that Ida's older brother, he gets attacked by a villain that was teased at the end of the first season, who we know as the hero killer. So yeah, Ida's older brother gets injured, but we don't find, or Ida doesn't find it out until a little bit later on. Like, he leaves right after he loses the match due to getting a phone call. And then after that, it's Bakugo versus Tokoyami. And Bakugo, since his quirk is making explosions, he figures out that the light from that quirk is weakening Tokoyami's Dark Shadow quirk, so he wins that one. In the finals, it's Todoroki versus Bakugo. And Todoroki, he's not taking the fight completely seriously, because he's not using the fire part of his quirk, which pisses off Bakugo, because he's like, hey, you should fight me with all your strength, because you fought Deku with all your strength. And Todoroki doesn't, which it hurts Bakugo's pride. Bakugo ends up losing. No, Bakugo ends up winning. So yeah, he wins, but he doesn't feel like he earned it because, again, Todoroki isn't fighting at full power. But, eh. And then we see the scene where Ida meets his brother in the hospital and finds out that his brother is basically injured for life and can't be a hero anymore, which is pretty sad. And then that leads into the internship arc of the season. So the internship arc of the season starts off with most of the characters in Class A choosing their hero names. Deku, he starts going by Deku as his hero name because that is a name that Bakugo called him as, and then Uraraka called him that. And it goes into this like whole double meaning that the word has in Japanese apparently, because Bakugo uses it as an insult and Uraraka doesn't. So yeah, Deku, his hero name now is Deku. Uraraka, her hero name is Uravity, like her name combined with the word gravity, which I guess that makes sense. Tokoyami, his hero name is Tsukuyomi. Let's see, who else? There's a lot of the students in Class A with hero names I won't be able to remember. Ida, when he met with his brother at the hospital, his brother told him that he should take up his hero name, which is Ingenium, which I think in English would be pronounced Ingenium, like engine. I don't know, the spelling of it is weird, but like I have a feeling in the dub it's pronounced Ingenium, but in the Japanese it's pronounced Ingenium. So Ida, he's about to use that name, but then he can't because he has this whole thing where he wants to avenge his brother. So he doesn't really choose a hero name just yet, officially. Bakugo, he chooses 2 hero names, but both of those get rejected just to both of them having murder in their names, which is not very fitting of a hero. Todoroki, he doesn't have a hero name just yet. Yariorozu, the girl who can like create things, her one is Creati. The frog girl, her hero name is Froppy, which I remember more than her actual name. There's others, but I can't really remember them since they're not as memorable, which is a shame, but yeah. And then the actual internship arc starts. So the students, they end up picking internships that they were offered due to their results at the sports festival, which is why that was a thing in the first place. So heroes can do some scouting for potential like future sidekicks and stuff like that. But Bakugo, he does not do anything at his internship. He wears jeans. Ida, he joins a local internship at the city that his brother was a hero at, so he can look for the hero killer, because revenge is on his mind. Todoroki he interns with his father, because even though he doesn't really like his father still is the number 2 hero, so he's taking advantage of that opportunity. Uravity, she interns with someone and learns like karate. Froppy interns with a marine-based hero company. And Deku, I think he only got like 1 or 2 internship offers, and then All Might ends up telling him, like, hey, you might not have gotten many offers, but you can intern under the guy that taught me, because that's a thing. So he does that. He interns under All Might's teacher. His name is Gran Torino, and his character is very similar to Yoda. He makes Deku do all sorts of weird things, which like they don't seem like they're actually doing anything, but they actually like have like lessons for him to learn. So there is that. Also my battery light. And under Gran Torino, Deku actually starts to learn how to use his quirk. Like Gran Torino basically tells Deku, like, hey, you're not using your quirk naturally. You're using it like a trump card, basically. So if you were to learn how to use it like it's an extension of your body, because it's a part of you, then you'll be able to actually use your quirk without hurting yourself. So Deku, he starts doing that, and he can actually use about up to 5% of his quirk's power, because his quirk is really strong, first of all. But yeah, so he's learning how to use his quirk, and then he develops his own technique called full cowling. And yeah, he gets a lot better at using his quirk, which is really cool, because he's no longer like breaking himself when he uses it. In between all of this, the hero killer meets up with the League of Villains and the hand dude, Shigaraki. He doesn't like the hero killer, so they have their little kerfuffle, and then the hero killer leaves. He goes to the city that he was at before, where he attacked Ida's older brother. The League of Villains also shows up at the city, and they release some more Nomus, which are, I assume they're like mutants, because there's more than one of them, and they all like shared like the same name, and they all had like different powers, because the first Nomu that we saw, which was at the end of the first season, could basically take on All Might, but like these ones, one of them can like fly, things like that. So the League of Villains unleashes that on the city that the hero killer is at, because the hand dude is like, the hero killer was mean to me, so I'm gonna attack the city. He's being very petty about that, but And while that's going on, actually, Deku and Gran Torino, they end up taking the subway, and because like Gran Torino's like, hey, we should find like a small place with villains that you can take on. But then while they're in the subway, they pass by the city that like the Nomus are attacking and the hero killer is at, so they stop by there to take care of things. Deku ends up meeting Ida, because Ida, he finds the hero killer and tries to get revenge on him, but then Deku saves Ida from that. And then we get a couple episodes devoted to Deku and Ida fighting the hero killer. The hero killer's quirk, by the way, is like, if he licks your blood, that paralyzes you for a short amount of time. So, and he uses like a lot of blade, like stuff like that, just to like inflict cuts to like blood, but yeah. And then at some point during the fight, Todoroki, he shows up because Deku like phones his location to a bunch of the students, and Todoroki was the closest at the time. So yeah, the three fight, and it's a pretty close fight actually. I think the hero killer, he holds his own against three students, and he nearly almost wins, but then he gets captured. Endeavor shows up, Todoroki's dad, to save the day because he's the number 2 hero, and he gets all of the praise for it because he has a license and the kids technically don't have a license to use their quirks because there's regulations and stuff like that for having powers, which I guess makes sense. But yeah, so there's that, and that brings an end to the internship arc. And also, while they're fighting the hero killer, Ada, his arms get damaged, so he can't really use his arms that well, but he doesn't decide to heal those because I guess it's a reminder to him of how he was acting based on revenge and not like being a hero. Because the hero killer, by the way, his whole shtick about killing heroes is he's killing a lot of fake heroes, like people that are heroes for like the publicity or whatever, like not for wholesome reasons like All Might. So he's basically weeding out the bunch and attacking people he feels that aren't worthy of being heroes. That's why the hero killer is doing that. Ida was acting on revenge, which the hero killer didn't like because he felt like heroes don't do that. But on the reverse side, the hero killer actually admired Deku for being selfless. So yeah, there's that. But that's pretty much the end of the internship arc. Also, during the internship arc, we get a little anime exclusive episode apparently where Froppy, we get to see her take down smugglers from another country, so she gets some focus, but yeah. And then we move on to the final exam arc, which is the final exams of Deku's first semester there. The final exam, there's the written portion, which we don't really see any of the written portion, and then there's the practical part of the exam. And the students in class A, they have to fight the teachers. The students are divided into groups of 2, and they have to fight a teacher that is assigned to them. And the teams they're not chosen randomly, they're chosen based on various things. I'm not going to go over all of the groups of students that were in the final exam arc because there's a lot and not all of them were memorable, but one that was memorable, there's Todoroki, who teamed up with Yaoyorozu, and they fought their homeroom teacher, Aizawa, who is the guy that can erase quirks by looking at people. Well, temporarily erase quirks. But yeah, so Yaoyorozu, due to how she did in the sports festival, she has some self-doubts, but she gets over that, so character development. Always room for that. Let's see, who else? The short boy with the pieces of sticky stuff that he can pull out of his head. He ends up passing Uraraka and her partner, Belly Button Laser Boy. They end up passing. Not all of the students pass the final exams, but they still get the payoff for that. Because the reason they're taking the final exams is because they were told that if they pass the final exams, they can go to a training camp. But that's actually a lie, because even if they failed, they were still able to go. But yeah, some of the students failed. Not all of them, though. I think 5 of them did, but yeah. And the last group of students to fight, there's Bakugo and Deku. They're in a team against All Might. Ooh, burp. So Bakugo and Deku, they don't really get along because they just have that history with each other. And Bakugo, he's really upset that Deku, he got a lot of experience out of his internship while Bakugo didn't, so that's another thing. But they're fighting All Might, they're not getting along. So Deku basically has to slap some sense into Bakugo, except he punches him in the face, like, hey, we should team up because you're cool and I'm cool and we can be cool together. And they don't really beat All Might, they escape, which is one of the things you could do in the practical exam if you want. Like, you can escape. If you're able to escape, you're still able to pass. It's as long as you don't like get knocked out or run out of time. That's when you fail. But yeah, they end up running away from All Might and passing. Bakugo ends up getting knocked out though. But Deku, he ends up running to save Bakugo and then runs away, and All Might's like, oh man, Deku, you could have saved yourself, but no, you did the thing you did in the second episode where you like ran while you were frightened to help someone in need. So yeah, nice little callback to that. And that's the end of the final exam. And then the very last episode of the second season, it's a shopping episode. Kind of like most of the students from class 1A, they go shopping to prepare for the camping trip. Deku, he gets left alone, and he ends up by chance meeting the hand dude from the League of Villains, Shigaraki. And Shigaraki, he's like, hey, what's different between me and the hero killer? I don't like him. And then Deku, he says things like, oh man, hero killer had conviction. Then Shigaraki's like, oh man, now I have conviction too. And then leaves. So yeah, also throughout the season we learn of I assume the main antagonist, whose name is All For One. And we also learn some more about All Might's quirk, One For All. One For All was a quirk that it's a combination of two quirks really, because All For One, he's like some immortal being, person who can absorb quirks and give them to people. So in the past, All For One, he took a quirk involving like super strength and whatnot and gave it to his brother, and All For One's brother had a quirk that let him be able to transfer to people, which is where that comes in. And basically One For All, it's been passed down, I think like 9 people. Deku's the 9th person, and it just cultivates itself and gets stronger. And All For One's like, oh man, I'm a villain. And apparently he stole a quirk that made him immortal. And All For One is actually the one that injured All Might and like caused him to not be able to use his quirk all the time. So there's that. And apparently he's the leader of the League of Villains. We don't get to see what he looks like yet though, but I assume we do at some point, maybe in season 3 or season 4. I don't know, but yeah. But that's pretty much it. Also, there's 2 new recruits for the League of Villains. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the end of season 2, which I enjoyed a lot. I said I was going to keep this recap short, and it's probably going to be about the same length, but that's actually pretty fine, because this season was like twice as long as season 1, and it probably took about the same time to do this recap. So yeah, but I enjoyed it. I can't wait to start season 3, but I'm not going to start it tomorrow. I'm actually going to take like a small break, because I don't think I've mentioned this on the blog yet, but I'm actually going to Iowa to visit my girlfriend Amelia, because her birthday is coming up. I'm actually leaving like early Thursday morning. Her birthday is on Friday. She doesn't know, this is going to be a surprise, but this vlog is coming out after, so don't need to worry about like ruining the surprise or anything. So yeah, I'm really enjoying My Hero Academia. I'm liking how all the characters, or most of the characters, are getting some development or they got their development in season 2, and presumably they're gonna get some more in the later, or in season 3. But yeah, I can't wait to start that. So whenever I get around to starting season 3, I look forward to that. But again, that'll have to wait, because Iowa is a thing. I need to actually start packing for that and actually wrapping gifts, but whatever. I'll just end it off here, and see y'all next time for the vlog. Later.